Hey YouTube, welcome back to Axis and Allies, the Garrison. This is Detroit coming to you from the bunker here in Rochelle Park, New Jersey, with the beginning of round three, turn one for Germany. So, turn one of round three, Germany. So, let me just perform a quick recap of where the war is up to this moment. And let's first start out in the Far East, where you have the Russians who have accumulated or harnessed a tremendous army in the Amur, where they have a total of 18 infantry, 2 artillery, and 2 AAAs. Interestingly enough, the Japanese have been suspecting that eventually the Russians will come in. So uh, Emperor Hilltop, for I guess for a lack of a nickname, has also accumulated a massive army in Manchuria, consisting of, I believe, about something along the lines of 11 infantry, 1 artillery, and 5 fighters. That army was placed there purposefully because we know that the Russians can create a lot of trouble in the Amur and Manchuria. And keep in mind also that if Russia invades Manchuria successfully, they get a national objective of 10 IPCs. All right, as for the Chinese, well, the Chinese have been cornered into the northwesternmost province of Kansu. So the Chinese do have a decent army. However, they have been cornered because the Japanese do have a very powerful air force in the province of Hunan. And that air force is very scary. And of course, that air wing or air group can definitely give the Chinese a huge headache, to say the least. So how about the Americans? Well, the Americans have built up a fleet, a considerable fleet in Sea Zone 26. In Hawaii, you have a considerable number of U.S. infantry, artillery, and air forces that are ready to be deployed for round 4. But let's keep in mind it is round 3 and the USA is still not at war. In Sea Zone 10, the U.S. just have a destroyer, okay? And in the Atlantic coast, the U.S. has been building up its naval forces, and something tells me that they have a keen eye for Sea Zone 91, and that's something that Germany has to prepare for. Okay, how about the Brits? Well, the British have been able to maintain a presence in Cairo, in Egypt. Field Marshal G.I. Joe successfully, halfway through round 2, attacked the Italian fleet in Sea Zone 98 with his British Air Force and totally wiped out the Italian Navy, consisting of a battleship and 2 cruisers, as well as 2 naval transports. And man, what can I say? That was a painful loss for the Italians. However, the Italians and the Axis in general had planned that out as well. We knew that that was a possibility, and we, as the Axis, have made arrangements as far as planning is concerned to be able to counter that. So it wasn't totally unexpected either. All right, so what else? Middle East, the Italians, well, the Italians are doing well, I would say, overall. They were able to take Iraq. They have been able to consolidate themselves in Al Alamein. For those who don't have the Sire blood map, it's Alexandria. And of course, the Italians have been able to expand in Central Eastern Africa and have captured most of the Horn of Africa national objective, with the exception of Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. If they capture that territory this coming around, they'll have a national objective point accumulated and to their record keeping. All right, so I think that's about it. What else? What can I say? The Russians. Well, the Russians during round 2 did coalesce around Leningrad, Belarus, Western Ukraine, and Ukraine. Interestingly enough, the Russians did leave their westernmost provinces or states unoccupied. And we shall see what Field Marshal G.I. Joe does this round 3. All right, so let's get this thing going. Let's see. Okay, I'm forgetting. Okay, let's do the technological weapons development for all of the major powers. that are planning to advance. And of course, the major powers are the UK, the US, the USSR, Japan, and Germany. Okay, so I'm going to roll for all of the 5 major powers. And that's something that whatever the die roll is will dictate how much that power has to pay for its technology. Keep in mind, folks, that if whatever power gets to 6, that power will have to pay 6 IPCs, and however, will be able to get its technological weapons development in advance. So of course, a 6 is a good thing. If you get a 1, you have to pay a 1, and that's it. You don't get your technology. You get a 2, same thing. You just have to pay that amount dictated by the dice. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead first with the UK. Let's see what G.I. Joe and his Brits would have to pay for their techs, the weapons tech. Here we go. Okay, the UK will pay 3 IPCs for their tech, and no, they don't get their technology. Okay, how about the US? Let's see what Hambone gets. Okay, the US will have to pay 5 IPCs, and 5 is probably the worst roll you could get. I'm sorry, Hambone. It's the most expensive roll, and you don't get your tech. All right, the Soviet Union, G.I. Joe. Let's see what Field Marshal G.I. Joe gets. Oh, wow, he got a 6. And of course, he knocked down a good number of his forces. So the Russians have to pay 6 IPCs, but guess what? They get their tech. Wow, that's not good for Germany. All right, how about Japan? Let's do Japan. Here we go. Let's see what Hilltop Pillbox will get. He got a 2. All right, so Hilltop, you don't get your weapons tech, but guess what? You do have to pay 2 IPCs, and that's a deal because it's not expensive for you. All right, here we go. Germany, last but not least. Let's roll for Germany. I hope I get a 6. And I got a 5. Hate it. I have to pay 5 also. Okay, and I don't get my tech. Oh, well, it is what it is. Having said that, let's go ahead then with my purchases. And of course, I had already laid down my purchases, which are 5 submarines, 6 infantry. I had laid down 6 IPCs specifically for that purpose. I'll be spending a total of 53 IPCs. I'll be carrying 1 IPC. That'll be 5 IPCs for my tech, 30 IPCs for my subs, which is 5 of them, and 6 infantry, 18. All right, so that's a total of 53 IPCs that I'll be spending for Germany's weapons tech and my production or purchasing of units. So let's go ahead with my combat movements. Okay, and what will they be? Germany will be declaring a total of 2 battles, and it'll be for Sea Zones 110 and Sea Zones 104. All right, so for Sea Zone 110, I already spoke with G.I. Joe, and he said he will not be scrambling to defend his cruiser and battle and aircraft carrier. And in this attack, I'll be deploying the following. Okay, I'll be attacking with a movement of 1, 2. My bomber coming from Western Germany at a movement of 2. This bomber will have 4 movements left. Actually, it'll have 5 movements left, right? Because it is coming from Western Germany. We're having Air Force. All right. This bomber will have 5 movements left. I will accompany that attack with 1 tactical bomber. Actually, 2 tactical bombers coming from Western Germany as well. That'll be 1 and 2. These aircraft will have 2 movements left in their fuel gauges. I'm going to try to squeeze this in here somehow. All right, there we go. All right. As well as my 2 fighters coming from Western Germany. That's 1 and 2. All these aircraft will have 2 movements left. Then I have an additional fighter coming into that attack as well, coming in from my carrier in Sea Zone 112. And this aircraft will have 3 movements left in its fuel gauge. Let's do that right here. Sorry, it's very cramped in here, guys. I apologize for that. Hope you guys can make sense of that. Supporting this attack also will be one battleship, a cruiser, destroyer, and aircraft carrier, okay, supporting that attack as well. All right, so that's a total of a carrier, destroyer, cruiser, battleship, one strategic bomber, two tactical bombers, and three fighters attacking the single or the two ships, British ships, the carrier and cruiser in Sea Zone 110. All right. Then the second attack will be for the British destroyer in Sea Zone 104. And in this attack, I'll have two tactical bombers moving at 1 and 2 coming from Holland, Belgium. These aircraft will have 2 movements left in their fuel gauges. Here we go. Then I have a fighter coming from Sea Zone 112 that originally came from the carrier at a movement of 1 and 2. And that fighter will also have 2 movements left in his fuel gauge and will be attacking that single destroyer. And that's it for my attacks. All right, so let's actually go ahead and perform these attacks. Here we go. Alrighty, so I do have 2 tactical bombers, okay, in that attack. Let me just recap my die here. This die is the battleship that attacks at 4, cruiser at 3, destroyer at 2, strategic bomber at 4. Then I do have 3 fighters that attack at 3, and I have 2 tactical bombers that attack at 3, and that'll be for a target select. Okay, and the target selected will be the British cruiser in Sea Zone 110. So that's going to be my first die roll, and it'll be a target select. And the target will be the cruiser. Okay, here we go. There we go. Let's see if I'm successful taking out this British cruiser. And, yep, out. So what that means then is that this cruiser is entirely out, does not get a chance to return fire. Now I'm going to place all these other die to take out the British carrier. Here we go. All right, more than enough, guys. I got 4 hits out of 7. Right, so that carrier is out. That carrier does get to return fire, though. Okay, at a return fire of 2, 1 die at 2. There we go. And it was a miss. There we go. All right, let's remove the British cruiser. Carrier. That battle's been fought already. Second battle is the battle for Sea Zone 104, where I have 2 tactical bombers and a fighter attacking the British destroyer in 104. That's, okay, here's what we're going to do. These are my 3 dice. 2 of those die will be target selecting that destroyer. Let's see if I get lucky again. Here we go. Got a hit. Beautiful. So that destroyer does not get to return fire either. All right, so that means then that the Germans did not sustain a single casualty in that attack. And of course, that was the idea all along, and it was a successful series of battles for the Germans. So now we're going to go ahead straight into non-combat movements. And first things first, let's land these aircraft. But you know what? Let me move my fleet into 110. I'm going to be moving my 9 naval transports from Sea Zone 112 into Sea Zone 110, right? Let me see. I don't want to make a big mess here. Okay, so all of my 9 transports are in Sea Zone 110 currently. Okay, I will place my fighter that was in 104. I'll land it on the carrier. I'll take one of the fighters that was participated in that attack, the one with 1 movement left, right? Actually, yeah, it had 3 movements left, actually, I believe. Yeah, 3. It'll land on the carrier. Let me see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to land the remainder of my Air Force. Will be landing Let me see something. Yeah, the remainder of my Air Force will be landing in Western Germany. Everybody else has sufficient fuel to come back to Western Germany. Sorry, was panning out. I'm not showing that to all of you to see. Okay, so let me remove these. Okay. All right, so you know what I'm going to do? My 9 transports, before they move into 110, they're actually going to perform a backward movement into C-Zone 113, right? And they'll pick up 6, 7, 8 infantry, okay? And they will be placed in Holland, Belgium. Okay, that's 8 infantry. Six, 2, 3, 6, 7. That's actually 7. 7, 8, and 9. No, just 8. There we go, 8. So I'm moving 8 infantry that are coming from from Germany proper at a movement with my naval transports at 112. They move to 113. That's a movement of 1. Movement at 2 back to 112, and movement of 3 at 110. Okay, so all these infantry are now in Holland, Belgium. Okay, I'll move my armor. Let me see something here. Yeah, I'm going to move my armor, all 6 of them, actually all 7, into Holland, Belgium as well. Okay. Now these armor are coming from Western Germany. I'll move the artillery in Western Germany into Holland, Belgium as well. Okay. Now this AAA in Holland, Belgium will go back to Western Germany. Okay. I think that about will do it for now. Yeah. Okay, so I got 1 mechanized infantry coming from Normandy, Bordeaux. This mechanized infantry at a movement of 3 will be railed. There is an industrial complex in Normandy, Bordeaux at a movement of 1, 2, and 3. It'll end up in Germany. All right. I got 2 more mechanized infantry coming from southern Italy at a movement of 1, 2, and 3. Will end up in Western Germany. Actually, no. Yeah, Western Germany. That's the best choice. No, they'll end up in Slovakia, Hungary. Sorry about that. Okay, so then I have 8 infantry in Slovakia, Hungary, moving into Warsaw, into Poland, moving up north from Slovakia, Hungary into Poland. I'll move in 2 artillery as well, actually 3 artillery, 2 armor, and 3 AAAs into, actually make that 2 AAAs. 2 AAAs. Make that 3 AAAs. Oh yeah, let's leave 2 AAAs in Poland and 1 in Slovakia, Hungary, right? I'll move 2 infantry coming from Bulgaria north into Romania. Okay. That's that. Okay, I think I moved all the pieces that I needed to move. Oh, I need to land these 2 fighters that were in one tactical fighters or bombers in 104. They'll land in Western Germany. They have enough fuel. They got 2 movements left in the fuel gauges, and they will be landing in Western Germany. Okay, there we go. Let me remove this. Okay, so let's go into the Middle East, where I have a bomber. It's going to be designated a air transport. We'll pick up 2 infantry, and at a movement of 1 and 2, we'll be landing at El Alamein. Okay, My tactical bomber and fighter at a movement of 1 and 2 will be reinforcing El Alamein as well. All right, and remaining in Transjordan is a single Italian ground unit, an infantry division there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead then. I think that's it for all my movements. Let me place. Let me leave 2 infantry back in Western Germany. Yeah. Yeah. 2 infantry in Western Germany. Okay, I'm going to go ahead then and place my newly built submarines. It's going to be a total of 5 submarines. 3 of them will go in Sea Zone 110. Right? And yeah, and then the other 2 will go in Sea Zone 112. I have received a couple of questions. Where have I gotten these bases? And just to let you know, these bases, these transparent bases, are actually from Wings of War. It's a game, a miniatures game consisting of aircraft. And I've had these for like about 10 years, and it never occurred to me that I could actually use these bases for those miniatures as bases for my Axis and Allies customized pieces. So now I have them doing double duty as Wings of War and Axis and Allies bases. So I think that they work well, and since especially because they're transparent and you could see right through the base and see the names of the territories or numbers, the values of each naval sea zone. I think it works well. All right, so much for that. I got 6 more infantry to place. So I'll be placing 3 infantry in Germany. 2, 3. I'll place. Let me place 2 more in Western Germany, right? And then an additional infantry in Germany proper, where I have now 5 infantry. Okay, and I think that's about it. Let's do my disposition of forces recap, and let's start in Egypt, where I have 2 infantry, 1 for the moment being 1 air transport, 1 fighter, 1 tactical bomber. Okay, that's in El Alamein. Romania, I have 2 infantry. Slovakia, Hungary, I have 2 mechanized infantry, 1 AAA. Let me move the infantry that was here, that I left behind, into Slovakia, Hungary, okay? Let me do that. So yeah, so in Slovakia, Hungary, I have 1 infantry, 2 regular mechanized infantry, and 1 AAA. In Poland, I have 3 artillery, 2 mechanized infantry, 2 AAAs, and 8 ground infantry units, to 8 regular infantry. In Germany, in Berlin, I got a mechanized infantry, 2 artillery, 2 AAAs, and 4 infantry. In Western Germany, I got, that's going to be 4 tactical bombers, 2 fighters, 1 strategic bomber, 1 AAA, and 4 regular infantry defending Western Germany. Now in Holland, Belgium, I have 7 armor, 1 artillery, and 8 infantry. Okay. Normandy, Bordeaux, I have 1 infantry, 2 artillery, Season 112, I have 2 submarines. Season 110, 9 naval transports, 3 submarines, 1 battleship, 1 cruiser, 1 destroyer, a carrier with 2 fighters. All right, and I think that does it for my recap. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead then and do my national objectives, and I believe I have 3 of them. The first one is Germany controls both Denmark and Norway. That's 5. I'm still not at war with the Soviet Union. That's 5. And I have at least 5 submarines, so that's 15. So that's 15. According to my battle board, I'm at 41 IPCs, right? That's 41 plus 15. That's 56 IPCs. 56, and I did carry over 1. So Germany will be carrying over 57 IPCs for round 4. All right, that's 57 IPCs, guys. All right, so I guess that's the end of the beginning of round 3, and it is the Soviet Union's turn. Let's see what Field Marshal G.I. Joe does with his Soviet forces that are most definitely poised to make gains on the Eastern Front. Or from their perspective, I guess the Western Front. All right, guys, Detroit out. And as I like to say, don't forget to bunker down and play. Enjoy.